Beginning a journey of self-discovery and self-affirmation is a challenge we all face at some point in our lives. In this context, a crucial aspect is learning to establish personal boundaries and understand the power of saying no. Often, we find ourselves trapped in the habit of prioritizing the needs and desires of others, often at the expense of our own interests and well-being. This reflection aims to explore the dynamics underlying this behavior, highlighting the importance of recognizing and respecting our own limits. We will discuss how the act of stepping away from toxic situations or relationships is not just a gesture of self-preservation, but also a powerful expression of self-respect and autonomy. Throughout this text, we will explore the various facets of this process, considering how the ability to say no and maintain a clear direction in life can transform our relationship with ourselves and others, leading to a more authentic and fulfilling existence. Before we begin, check your subscription and feel free to leave a comment about your perspectives during the video. Let's start. It's an intriguing and quite common phenomenon, the tendency of many individuals to dedicate their time and effort to others, often even beyond their own limits and needs. But what is the root of this behavior? It could be an internal search for personal validation, a deep longing to be valued and accepted. Or perhaps these people believe that their self-esteem is intrinsically linked to how they are perceived by others. This excessive concern with others' perceptions can turn into a trap. When you care too much about what others think, you run the risk of losing your own identity. You become a reflection of others' expectations and opinions, as if your existence depended on the approval of others. This can be exhausting, and in many cases lead to a vicious cycle of relentless pursuit of recognition and approval. This journey in search of acceptance can be motivated by various reasons. Some may feel insecure about their own worth, depending on external validation to feel worthy. Others may have grown up in environments where love and attention were conditioned on meeting others' expectations, leading them to believe that this is the only way to be loved or respected. However, it's crucial to recognize that this constant pursuit of others' approval can be a lonely and unsatisfying path. It's like trying to fill an inner void with something that's always out of reach. The key to breaking this cycle may lie in developing a healthier relationship with oneself, learning to value your own opinions and needs. By doing so, one can begin to embark on a path of greater authenticity and personal satisfaction, where the opinions of others are just one part of the whole, or not the defining factor of one's happiness and self-esteem. Many of us at some point find ourselves giving our time and energy to others. But why does this happen? Is it a search for self-affirmation or a deep desire to be appreciated? Excessive concern with others' opinions can turn us into true hostages of these judgments. If you often find yourself in this situation, I want to share with you a valuable strategy to reclaim your sovereignty and self-esteem. This strategy is simply known as walking away. It may seem somewhat abrupt, but in some circumstances, it's a necessary step to reaffirm your personal power. Throughout life, we encounter various people. Some do not respect boundaries. Others are overly dependent or even cruel and selfish. Showing these people that you are willing to walk away not only reinforces your independence, but also regains control over your own life. The power of walking away is strengthened by two fundamental pillars: the ability to say no, and the presence of a clear direction in your life. If you tend to get lost in the desires of others, or worse, feel used or abused, you'd likely struggle with refusing requests and lack of defined purpose. Having a clear goal shows the world that you value your time, and by extension, your life. This naturally distances you from situations where your boundaries are disrespected. Keep. Being focused on your path reduces the need to seek external approval. Remember, walking away is not just a physical action, but a mindset of self-worth and respect. Adopting this stance sends a powerful message. You are in charge of your life. Thank you for dedicating your time to this reflection. Walking away might sound like a harsh move, but at certain times it becomes an essential action to assert one's autonomy in a given scenario. Throughout life's journey, we crossed paths with countless people. Some of these interactions are fleeting, like leaves in the wind, while others deeply root themselves in our hearts. Each encounter, whether brief or lasting, leaves its unique imprint on our personal story. Deciding to step back is not always easy. Often it comes with a mix of emoticons, a blend of relief with a tinge of melancholy. But it's important to remember that taking control of our own narrative is a sign of maturity and self-awareness. Knowing when to say goodbye, when to close a chapter is a vital skill in building a fulfilling and authentic life. In some cases, this choice might seem selfish to others. However, it's an act of self-preservation. By moving away from situations or people that no longer resonate with our values or aspirations, we make room for new opportunities and enriching experiences. This journey of personal discovery is a mosaic of meetings and farewells, each contributing a unique color to the larger picture of our existence. These moments of departure, though sometimes painful, are crucial for our growth. They teach us about our limits, desires, and most importantly, about who we truly are. By sharing these reflections, I hope to spark curiosity and interest in my audience, encouraging them to look at their own stories with a new perspective, full of possibilities and learning among the various people who cross our paths. Some present particular challenges in understanding and respecting personal boundaries. Some can be overly dependent, clinging to us, and demanding a disproportionate amount of our time and energy. These interactions, although often well-intentioned, can become exhausting, creating an imbalance in the relationship. On the other hand, there are those individuals we might classify as unpleasant and ill-intentioned. These are people who unfortunately see social interactions as an opportunity for manipulation and exploitation. They can act cruelly using sarcasm, element that guides us to where we want to go, both literally and metaphorically. Having a direction means having goals, aspirations, and a sense of purpose in life. Knowing where you are headed makes it easier to make decisions and choose paths that align with your values and objectives. Direction gives you focus, helping us avoid distractions and negative influences. Together, know and direction form a powerful combination. While no protects use from unwanted external influences, direction keeps us on the path to achieving our goals and dreams. These two concepts are crucial for maintaining personal integrity and following a path that is truly our own. If you find yourself frequently yielding to the whims of others or, in more severe cases, being exploited, manipulated, or abused by others, this might indicate a difficulty in asserting no and a lack of clear direction in life. These are warning signs that deserve attention and reflection. The inability to say no often stems from a desire to please, to avoid conflict, or from the belief that our needs and desires are less important than those of others. This behavior, though it may seem harmless at first, can lead to a cycle of self-denial and resentment, and create an environment conducive to being used or abused. On the other hand, a lack of direction can be the result of uncertainties, a lack of self-awareness, or fear of pursuing our true interests. Without a clear direction, it's easy to be swayed by the will and objectives of others, thus missing the opportunity to live a life that is truly our own. Recognizing these patterns in oneself is the first step towards change. It begins with strengthening self-esteem and self-awareness, understanding what we truly value and desire for our lives. From there, we can start practicing assertiveness, learning to say no when necessary, and to set and pursue our own goals and aspirations. Indeed, the inability to say no and a lack of clear direction in life can lead to a less firm and assertive stance. When we are not anchored in our own values and objectives, we become more susceptible to the influence and interests of others. This lack of firmness can be perceived by others, and in some cases, unfortunately, exploited. When people notice this absence of direction in someone, they may feel encouraged to impose their own wills and objectives onto that person. This can occur subtly or more directly, but the result is the same. You might end up living a life that is more a reflection of others' expectations and desires than of your own aspirations. It's important to emphasize that having a direction in life doesn't mean having an inflexible plan or an unchangeable vision of the future. It means having a sense of purpose, knowing what is important to you, and making decisions that align with those values and objectives. Direction provides a guide, an internal compass that helps navigate the complexities and challenges of life. The ability to say no, on the other hand, is an act of self-affirmation. It's recognizing and honoring your own limits, needs, and desires. Saying no is not just a rejection of something unwanted. It's also an affirmation of oneself and what you value. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. When people notice someone's lack of commitment to personal goals, they may indeed start to view that person's time is less valuable than their own. This perception can lead to a harmful dynamic, where it's expected that you prioritize the needs and desires of others above your own. Such a situation not only diminishes the importance of your time and efforts, but can also establish a pattern where your own goals and aspirations are consistently put on the back burner. This dynamic can be subtle and is often not done with malicious intent. However, it reinforces the idea that the needs of others are more important, which can lead to a cycle of self-neglect. When you spend most of your time meeting the expectations of others, you might end up missing the opportunity to invest in yourself and your own goals. This situation highlights the importance of developing a sense of direction and purpose. Having clear and personal goals helps to establish healthy boundaries and make decisions that reflect your own priorities. This doesn't mean ignoring the needs of others, but rather finding a balance between helping others and taking care of yourself. Moreover, learning to value your own time and efforts is crucial. This involves recognizing your worth and the importance of your own goals and aspirations. By valuing yourself, you teach others to do the same from the perspective of those who see others as less committed to their own goals. That may arise the notion that by dedicating time to meet their demands, you are in a way using your time usefully, serving their interests. This view is problematic because it places the value of your time and efforts solely in the context of its usefulness to others, and not in relation to your own satisfaction and personal growth. This mindset can lead to the belief that your worth is intrinsically tied to your ability to be useful to others, rather than recognizing your inherent value as an individual. Such an approach not only minimizes the importance of your own aspirations and needs, but can also lead to a loss of self-esteem and a feeling of dissatisfaction with life. It's essential to recognize that being useful to others is just one of the many ways to spend your time valuably. The true value of your time also manifests when you are working towards your own goals, taking care of yourself, or simply doing things that bring you joy and satisfaction. By dedicating yourself intensely and intentionally to a personal goal, you are engaging in a journey of significant self-appreciation. This dedication not only reflects a clear definition of priorities, but also resonates as an affirmation of the value of your time and life. This stance sends a strong signal both to yourself and to those around you, indicating that each minute is precious and should be used in a thoughtful and meaningful way. This choice to live with a clear purpose fundamentally changes how others perceive you. People start to see someone who makes conscious choices about how to invest their time, someone who is not available to be indiscriminately consumed by the whims of others. Instead of being perceived as a resource available to others, you are seen as an individual with your own desires, ambitions, and passions. Committing to your goals has several marked advantages. First, there's a sense of authenticity and integrity. Your actions and choices begin to reflect your internal values and beliefs, providing a sense of genuine and true life. Second, this dedication fosters an increase in self-respect and, consequently, the respect others have for you. When you demonstrate that you value your own time, you naturally teach others to do the same. Furthermore, this attitude of commitment can serve as a source of inspiration for those around you. Observing your effort and the achievements that come from it, you become a positive example, encouraging others to pursue their own dreams and passions. There's also the crucial aspect of establishing healthy boundaries. By dedicating yourself to your goals, you learn to say no to demands that don't align with your priorities, maintaining a healthy balance between meeting the needs of others and your own. Furthermore, Maintaining a focus on your personal goals and aspirations is an effective strategy for walking away from situations where your boundaries are violated or where you are subjected to abuse. This ability to steer away from harmful environments is crucial in various aspects of life, whether in the workplace, marital relationships, or even friendships in the professional context. For instance, having a clear sense of direction can help you identify when a work situation is becoming toxic or detrimental, whether it's due to colleagues who don't respect your boundaries or an excessive and unbalanced workload. Knowing when and how to step back can be vital for your mental health and career progression. Similarly, in personal relationships, such as marriages or friendships, the ability to stay true to your own goals and values helps to identify when these relationships are becoming one-sided or harmful. It can often be difficult to recognize and admit that a close relationship is doing more harm than good. However, by focusing on your own needs and goals, you become more adept at realizing when it's time to withdraw and seek healthier and more balanced environments and relationships. This ability to step away is not just a form of self-preservation, it's also an act of self-respect. It involves recognizing your own worth and understanding that you deserve to be in situations and relationships that are respectful and reciprocal. By incorporating these concepts into a narrative, the message conveyed is one of empowerment and self-defense. It encourages listeners to consider the importance of protecting themselves from harmful situations and to recognize the value of seeking environments that promote their well-being and personal growth. Being focused on your own path has the effect of reducing excessive concern with the affairs and opinions of others. When you concentrate on yourself, the need to seek external approval diminishes significantly. You begin to understand that the only person you really need to prove anything to is yourself. This kind of self-knowledge and self-confidence is liberating and fundamental to building an authentic and fulfilled life. Walking away from abusive people and destructive environments is a powerful way to protect your self-respect and integrity. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather of strength and self-awareness. By making this decision, you are choosing not to allow your mental health and well-being to be compromised by toxic situations or relationships. This attitude also sends a clear message to the world around you. You are in control of your life. You decide who and what deserves your time and energy. This doesn't mean you don't care about friends, family, or partners. On the contrary, it shows that while you love and value your relationships, you are not dependent on them for your happiness or sense of self-worth. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is a way of demonstrating that you respect yourself and expect the same respect from others. Adopting the stance of walking away in negotiation situations sends a powerful message, especially in a business context. This attitude signals to others involved that you have other options, and that while interested, you are not wholly dependent on that specific deal for progress. This is a demonstration of confidence and an abundance mindset, which can be incredibly influential in negotiations. The abundance mindset is not necessarily based on having a lot of money, possessions, or a vast social circle. Instead, it's about an internal perspective, a state of contentment and confidence in one's ability to achieve and create opportunities. When you operate from this viewpoint, you radiate a sense of self-assurance and self-sufficiency that can be very attractive and persuasive to others. This concept also applies in personal relationships. Loving and valuing people in your life is natural and important, but it's crucial to understand that you don't need them for your own happiness or sense of worth. This understanding allows you to establish healthier and more balanced relationships where there is no excessive dependency and negotiation. The willingness to walk away and take it seriously is often the strongest position. This is because it demonstrates that you are making a conscious choice, not acting out of desperation or necessity, by being prepared to leave the negotiation table if the conditions are not favorable. You maintain control and integrity of the situation. This stance not only increases your chances of achieving a favorable outcome, but also ensures that regardless of the outcome, you remain in a position of power. You win by maintaining your standards and respecting your own boundaries. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like, Subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay serene, and see you next time. 1. You could not step twice into the same river. Heraclitus. 2. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we speak. Zeno of Citium. Fate guides the willing, but drags the unwilling. Cleanthes. 4. There could be no justice unless there were also injustice, no courage unless there were cowardice, no truth unless there were falsehood. Chrysippus. 5. Let your desires be ruled by reason. Cicero. 6. I begin to speak only when I'm certain what I'll say isn't better left unsaid. Cato the Younger. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. 8. If you accomplish something good with hard work, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures. Musonius Rufus. 9. Men are disturbed not by things but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things. Epictetus. 10. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. Marcus Aurelius. 12. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. 13. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. Epicurus. 14. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Seneca. 15. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. 16. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. 17. True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for he that is so wants nothing. The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. Seneca. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Marcus Aurelius. 19. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. 20. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone. Epictetus. Your potential, the absolute best you're capable of, that's the metric to measure yourself against. Your standards are, winning is not enough. People can get lucky and win. People can be assholes and win. Anyone can win. But not everyone is the best possible version of themselves. Ryan Holiday. 22. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Reinhold Niebuhr. 23. People will choose unhappiness over uncertainty. Timothy Ferris. 24. As a Stoic, I must despise injury, or rather, I must not feel it, must not be affected by it so that it cannot violate the freedom of my soul. Alexandra David Nail. 25. Our happiness is not to be found in the judgments of others or in things outside of our control. Ariana Huffington. 26. Having to fight for the thing you want doesn't mean you deserve it any less. Anna Kendrick. 27. Complaining does not work as a strategy. We all have finite time and energy. Any time we spend whining is unlikely to help us achieve our goals, and it won't make us happier. Randy Pausch. 28. We love being mentally strong, but we hate situations that allow us to put our mental strength to good use. Mokokoma Mokonawana. 29. A Stoic is someone who transforms fear into prudence, pain into transformation, mistakes into initiation, and desire into undertaking. Nassim Taleb. 30. Hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Jerzy Gregorek, 31. We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it. Life is long if you know how to use it. Seneca, 32. Let the mind be disciplined to understand and to endure its own lot. Let it have the knowledge that there is nothing which fortune does not dare, that she has the same jurisdiction over empires as over emperors, the same power over cities as over the citizens who dwell therein. We must not cry out at any of these calamities. Into such a world have we entered, and under such laws do we live. Seneca, 33. Receive without pride, let go without attachment. Marcus Aurelius, 34. Make peace again with destiny, the destiny that unravels all ties. We are unequal at birth, but are equal in death. Seneca, 35. Given that all must die, it is better to die with distinction than to live long. Musonius Rufus, 36. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius, 37. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last by death's final constraint to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing. Seneca, 38. Nothing ought to be unexpected by us. Our minds should be sent forward in advance to meet all problems, and we should consider not what is wont to happen, but what can happen. Seneca, 39. Freedom isn't secured by filling up on your heart's desire, but by removing your desire. Epictetus, 40. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. Seneca, 41. Wherever a person can live, there one can also live well. Marcus Aurelius, 42. So you must not think a man has lived long because he has white hair and wrinkles. He has not lived long, just existed long. For suppose you should think that a man had had a long voyage who had been caught in a raging storm as he left harbor, and carried hither and thither and driven round and round in a circle by the rage of opposing winds. He did not have a long voyage, just a long tossing about. Seneca, 43. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all. Marcus Aurelius, 44. It would be tedious to recount all the ways by which fate may come. But this one thing I know, all the works of mortal man have been doomed to mortality, and in the midst of things which have been destined to die, we live. Seneca. If everything is exactly right the way it is, complaining becomes utterly useless then, doesn't it? There's a saying I like. For every minute you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. Ralph Waldo Emerson. You could have spent those 60 seconds laughing, talking, breathing, living, but you chose to complain to the person next to you in line at the cashier how hard life is, how much waiting at the grocery store sucks, and how stupid that employee is for making a mistake. You never know how long you have. No one knows. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow, or never even wake up the next day. Your time on earth is limited, incredibly limited, so don't waste it. Marcus Aurelius hated holding court, but he knew he shouldn't spend even a second regretting his duties. Instead, he trusted in the grand scheme of things, knowing that Logos had a plan for him, and right now, his part in that plan was to let people waste his time with superficial arguments and small talk in court. Complaining wastes your time and makes everyone that has to listen to it feel bad. So how about making it today's mission to stop complaining? Being an emperor in ancient Rome was a dangerous job. People tried to kill you, abduct you, stab you in the back, and poison you at least once a week. Marcus Aurelius believed that physical pain was part of Logos's big plan as well. He also suffered a lot of psychological pain in his lifetime. Out of his 13 children, 8 died before him, including his wife, who died at a very young age. But he was convinced that all these things happen for good reason, trusted in the purpose, and thus remained calm even in the worst of times. After all, these deaths were external events that Marcus Aurelius had no hand in whatsoever. He believed that any harm done to a person from an external source was beyond their control and therefore couldn't truly harm them. The suffering only starts if you allow it to, because you start blaming yourself, questioning why things happen, or complaining about how unfair everything is. Whatever pain you're facing, you have a choice. You can accept it and move on without complaining. Always. So don't make yourself suffer. It's really all in your head. You might have heard this before, but success doesn't happen overnight. Just like Epictetus says, even grapes and figs take time to ripen. As such, he suggests that you grow like a fig, slowly but steadily, but never rushing the process. If a fruit can't be brought to maturity in an hour, nor can you. And frankly, this isn't a bad thing. Life isn't supposed to make you grow fast and then stagnate there. Instead, growth happens incrementally, through everyday small steps. However, sometimes life makes us take huge leaps ahead, especially through difficult times. But again, they help us grow and evolve as we learn to navigate through them. Now back to the grapes and figs. Epictetus mentions that our growth as humans resembles these plants' life cycle. One of the fundamental principles of the Stoic philosophy is that life is composed of things we can control and things we cannot control. As such, the external things that surround us are outside of our control, but we can choose how to react to them, and that is where our responsibility begins. The good and the bad are to be found in our choices and reaction to the outside world. Once you understand this concept, it will be easier for you to understand why certain things happen to you and prepare yourself better for future events. The secret lies within finding out what's within our control and what isn't, because if we confuse them, we will waste time thinking and reacting to things outside our control and pay too little attention to what truly matters. As such, consider life as a series of circumstances, without asking why certain things are happening to you or not. Instead, learn to target your focus on the response you can offer to certain situations. Keep in mind that good and evil exist only in our mind and our will. Whichever response we choose, it's up to us. Is a remarkable compilation of Epictetus's informal lectures given to his students. The book addresses the Stoic philosophy of life and delves into a series of concepts such as happiness, well-being, hardship and challenges, and the way the human mind works in relation to emotions. To fully grasp the meaning of this book, I recommend reading and rereading it until you reach a full understanding of the universal truths presented. If you manage to understand and apply the Stoic concepts from this book, you'll be one step ahead in life. As usual, we've sorted our list into multiple subcategories. First, we'll cover the best philosophy books all around. Then, we'll get into Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, important philosophers, as well as books talking specifically about ethics and morality. Finally, we'll show you some philosophies of productivity and other books that present a coherent worldview for our modern world. Besides a picture of the cover of each title, you'll find our favorite quote from the author, a one-sentence summary of the book, and some suggestions on when and why to read the book. We've also included 3 key takeaways, as well as some buttons you can click to read the book's free summary on 4-Minute Books, or buy a copy for yourself on Amazon affiliate links. Use the clickable table of contents below to quickly jump to any book or category and start discovering the many wonderful, enlightening philosophies we can use to live a better life. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Meditations is a collection of 12 books written by Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who consistently journaled to remember his education in Stoic philosophy, and whose writings will teach you logic, faith, and self-discipline. Why should you read it? If you're looking for daily comfort, motivation, and wisdom, this is one of the best books you'll ever pick up. I don't see why anyone shouldn't read this. The advice is as sound as when Marcus gave it to himself 2,000 years ago, and the book will benefit you in tough as well as glorious times. Plus, it might even inspire you to start journaling yourself. Key takeaways. True logic. Doesn't always make sense, but everything happens for a reason. Life is too short to complain. The only pain you suffer is the pain you create yourself. If you want to learn more, you can read our free 4-minute summary or get a copy for yourself. Man's Search for Meaning details Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl's horrifying experiences in Nazi concentration camps, along with his psychological approach of logotherapy, which is also what helped him survive and shows how you can, and must, find meaning in your life. Control your perceptions, direct your actions properly, willingly accept what's outside your control. Ryan Holiday. The book in one sentence. The Daily Stoic is a year-long compilation of short daily meditations from ancient Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, teaching you equanimity, resilience, and perseverance via the 3 Stoic disciplines of perception, action, and will. Why should you read it? If you struggle with reading nonfiction at a pace that makes you feel good about your progress, this is the book for you. It's also one of my all-time favorites. I read it every year for 5 years in a row. A page a day is so easy to read, you can't not do it. As a result, you'll gain a great overview of Stoicism and implement plenty of its tenets in your life. Key takeaways. Perception gives purpose to your thoughts, actions, and ultimately everything you do. We can change the course of our life by actively choosing our actions instead of just reacting to our impulses. Will is our internal force of perseverance, ready to give us hope when everything else fails. If you want to learn more, you can read our free 4-minute summary or get a copy for yourself. Ancient Greek philosophers paved the way for philosophy, science, and new forms of societal governance. Philosopher Spinoza helped decipher the hidden meanings of religion. Voltaire was partially responsible for the French Revolution and the improvement of political systems around the world. If you want to learn more, you can read our free 4-minute summary or get a copy for yourself. Justice must be looked at on an individual as well as a city level. Both cities and souls can be divided into 3 distinct parts. Philosophers trying to rule others will face lots of difficulty, and rightfully so. If you want to learn more, you can read our free 4-minute summary or get a copy for yourself. Without life's challenges, we wouldn't feel the need to grow and evolve. Everything great in life takes time and effort to build. If you can't control it, don't stress over it. If you never give up on your dreams, eventually some of them will come true. True satisfaction comes from helping others succeed. The simplest advice is often the most valuable. You really want to escape the things that harass you. What you need is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Marcus Aurelius. Letters from a Stoic is a collection of encouraging moral messages sent by Roman Stoic and philosopher Seneca to his friend Lucilius in order to help him become less emotional, more disciplined, and find the good life. Why should you read it? There used to be a thing called pen pals. People would commit to writing each other letters on a regular basis. Nowadays, the practice is dwindling. Thanks to this book, however, you can have a pen pal, and not just any pen pal, but one of the most famous philosophers in history. If you'd like a friend to send you letters of encouragement, this book is perfect for you. 1. The goal of attaining wisdom is to live in harmony with nature. 2. Your most valuable possession is your mind. 3. A wise man doesn't need friends, but he chooses to make them anyway. If you want to learn more, you can read our free 4-minute summary, or G. Meditations on First Philosophy is one of the premier works of Western philosophy, written by René Descartes in 1641, prompting us to abandon everything that can possibly be doubted and then starting to reason our way forward based only on what we can know with absolute certainty. A copy for yourself. 1. Your senses don't always tell the truth. 2. The fact that you think proves that you exist. 3. There are 3 levels of truth in the world. 4. Chasing leisure, luxury, and legacy is what makes a long life appear short. 5. You can be busy all your life without ever doing something meaningful, so beware. 6. Your ability to contemplate and appreciate life will never disappear. 7. If you're looking for a general introduction to Stoicism, get this book. It covers its historical rise and fall, most important concepts, as well as the best pieces of Stoic advice. A great overview of this resurgent philosophy. 8. A Guide to the Good Life is a roadmap for aspiring Stoics, revealing why this ancient philosophy is useful today, what Stoicism is truly about, and showing you how to cultivate its powerful principles in your own life. If you're looking for a general introduction to Stoicism, get this book. It covers its historical rise and fall, most important concepts, as well as the best pieces of Stoic advice. A great overview of this resurgent philosophy. 1. The two primary values of Stoicism are virtue and tranquility. 2. Learn to want what you already have. 3. Immediately accept things that are outside of your control and focus on what you can do with what you've got. How to be a Stoic is a practical guide for applying ancient philosophy in modern life, covering the principles philosophers like Socrates, Epictetus, and Cato followed to cultivate strength in the three Stoic disciplines of desire, action, and assent. For a deeper dive into Stoicism and its central areas of application, consider this book. Like many other books on the topic, it divides its ideas into three-section mapping to the three Stoic disciplines. So even if you're just looking for advice on one particular field, you can easily skip around and get right to what's most relevant to you right now. 1. The concept of preferred indifference can help you act in line with your morals without becoming extremist. 2. In Stoicism, virtue is the highest good, and it's made up of 4 values. 3. You can have useful, pleasurable, and good friendships. The good are the most important. 4. We come from nature and will return to it eventually, so it's only logical to live in agreement with it. 5. Life is about constant improvement, which is why we should all work on our virtues every day. 6. Stoics know there's no point in worrying over what you can't control, so best just make your peace with it. 7. Imagine you're advising yourself as a friend to keep an objective perspective. 8. Large obstacles have large weaknesses. Identify them and use them against them. 9. Use your will to accept what you cannot change and change the things you can. 10. Living life doing what you were destined to do brings peace, while the opposite breeds pain and insecurity. 11. Find meaning in the journey and let go of constant anticipation. 12. Meditation can help you master your thoughts and regain focus. If you're looking for a highly action-oriented approach to philosophy, this classic might be for you. It's a book about war, yes, but it's also a book about business, work, and life. If you metaphorically apply Sun Tzu's strategies of warfare to your next big meeting, it might go better than you expect. You'll also pick up plenty of honorable attitudes along the way, as the soldier's path is, ideally, supposed to be a virtuous one, and it's walking that path that this book hopes to teach you. Only enter battles you know you can win. 2. Deceive your competition to make them do what you want. 3. Lead your team as if you were leading a single man by the hand. 4. Fully accept whatever the current moment brings. Give yourself fully to reality. 5. Admit your own faults and mistakes because ultimately they might be your greatest source of strength. 6. Always compete in a spirit of play to stay in harmony with the Tao. 7. A life without suffering does not exist. 8. Since we can't control suffering, we must practice our response to it. 9. Compassion and sadness help us alleviate our troublesome responses to suffering. 10. Stoicism came about as a result of extreme hardship. 11. Not everyone who initially followed Stoicism fully lived up to its standards. 12. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor whose practice of Stoicism helped him lead with compassion and humility. 13. Can answer most questions but not all of them. 14. No two people are the same, and neither should education treat them that way. 15. Plato came up with a definition of love that encompasses all human relationships. 16. Philosophy isn't about spinning your head all day, it's about making wise decisions. 17. Your morning routine is a battle of the egos. 18. A good way of assessing your happiness is to ask yourself if you'd like to live the same life again. 19. Aim to achieve a state of eudaimonia instead of conventional happiness. 20. Arete, or virtue, is accomplished through a lifetime of work. 21. Strive to be magnanimous, someone who does great and honorable things. In my mind, this book is something akin to a big beware sign. You read it, you understand how people in power can easily abuse it, and you'll be much less likely to become the victim of power schemes in the future. Don't think of this as an instruction manual, for it'll only lead you down a dark path. Treat it with care, however, and it will be enlightening. 1. Countries can be easy to conquer but hard to rule, or vice versa, and markets are the same. 2. If a country truly wants to protect itself, it needs its own army, not mercenaries. The same holds true for businesses. 3. If you want to run a business, you have to assemble your advisors and know when to listen to them. 4. You're freer than you think, and you should take advantage of it. 5. There is no such thing as a completely neutral perspective. 6. Abstract ideals aren't as important as real people, but our governments mess this up all the time. The better angels of our nature proves that we live in the most peaceful time in history, taking us through several major shifts that led to a global reduction in crime, explaining what motivates us to behave violently, and showing that these motivators are far outweighed by our naturally peaceful tendencies. 1. Ideologies always start out with good intentions, but they can quickly deteriorate into promoting violence. 2. The Flynn effect increases humanity's ability to reason over time, thus making us less violent. 3. Thanks to the invention of the printing press, humanitarian philosophy could spread, which decreased violence across the board. 4. Doing nothing and doing everything are both signs of learned helplessness. 5. Become the editor of your own life with the 90% rule. 6. Always give yourself a time buffer of 50%. 7. There are 4 strategies for deep work, all of which require intention. 8. Productive meditation can help you work more deeply, even while you're taking a break. 9. Stop working at the same time each day. Are you struggling to balance the various areas of life demanding your time and energy? Then this book is for you. It's also not a philosophy book per se, but it presents a model you can use to navigate all of life. Plus, the energy management concept is just fascinating. Worth checking out? 1. Manage your energy, not your time. 2. Keep track of all 4 sources of energy in your life. 3. Accept your limitations. 1. Principles are powerful weapons in the fight against flawed thinking. 2. Radical truthfulness and transparency are 2 of Ray's most important ideas. 3. Great businesses use principles to create environments where the best ideas win. It's all very well to think the meaning of life is happiness, but what happens when you're unhappy? Happiness is a great side effect. When it comes, accept it gratefully, but it's fleeting and unpredictable. 12 Rules for Life is a story-based, stern yet entertaining self-help manual for young people, laying out a set of simple rules to help us become more disciplined, behave better, act with integrity, and balance our lives while enjoying them as much as we can. 1. Sweep in front of your own door before pointing out that the street is dirty. 2. Treat yourself like a child you're responsible for. 3. Aim to do what is meaningful, not convenient. Minimalism is an instructive introduction to the philosophy of less, and how it helped 2 guys who had achieved the American dream let go of their possessions and the depressions that came with them. Minimalism is one of few modern-day standalone philosophies. That alone makes this book worth reading. More so, however, it has a chance at making you happier. Caring less about possessions is a wonderful way of making room for what's truly important in your life. And this book explains this life approach extremely well. 1. Debt goes first. Get rid of your financial crutches to finally feel free. 2. Use the Tara method to become more accepting of other people in your life. 3. You are not your job. Don't let your work define you. We have so much more technology than we did even 20 years ago, and yet, no one has updated philosophy to help us acknowledge this fact. Well, no one except Cal Newport. If you struggle to find the line between your screen and reality, this book will provide plenty of tips and tactics, but also some powerful arguments as to why spending less time online matters. 1. Digital minimalism centers on 3 principles. Clutter is costly, optimization is vital, and intentionality is satisfying. 2. Plan downtime events as a source of inward joy and deep contemplation. 3. Quick fixes and life hacks might prompt a healthy new habit, but they don't promote sustainable change. Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy centered around incremental growth, and it begins with evaluating your habits. The best way to reach a big goal is to start with a step so small, you'll barely notice the diffy. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, often emphasizes the power of self-control and resilience in the face of challenges. The idea of walking away as a form of strength aligns with Stoic principles in several ways. Emotional regulation. Stoics believe in focusing on what they can control. Walking away from situations that provoke negative emotions or that they can't change allows them to maintain inner peace and emotional balance. Avoiding conflict. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of avoiding unnecessary conflicts. Walking away from arguments or disputes can preserve one's tranquility and prevent unnecessary stress. Choosing virtue. Stoicism emphasizes virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Walking away from situations that compromise these virtues showcases strength and integrity. Self-mastery. Knowing when to walk away requires self-awareness and discipline. It demonstrates mastery over one's impulses and reactions, which is a central tenet of Stoicism. Remember, walking away isn't always about physical movement. It can also refer to mentally disengaging from harmful situations or unproductive thoughts. Stoicism teaches the value of choosing our battles wisely and directing our energy toward what truly matters.